Toy-Con 4 was made in 2019 by Nintendo for the Switch and was nicknamed the VR set. It is part of the Nintendo Labo line of edutainment toys, which let the player assemble cardboard items to interact with the console. It is the fourth and final installment thereof. It was offered as a full set, or as a basic starter kit, which contained the software but just the cardboard for the VR goggle, some basics and the blaster controller. This starter kit could later be topped off by buying so-called expansion kits. This review will give a brief overview over the base VR kit and blaster, but in an upcoming video I will discuss the Elephant Toy-Con, which is Nintendo's most recent light gun. The Labo sets and programs are a very guided experience. In the beginning, the user is accompanied to build first simple items from cardboard and is made confident with the build environment, where assembly instructions are collected. To don't overwhelm the user, not every piece of information or program is available at the start. Finishing a particular build guide unlocks specific games and applications, together with some further information in the so-called discovery environment. Similarly, reading information in the latter unlocks further topics and programs. This sounds restrictive, but in practice the unlocking progresses reasonably fast, and in many instances the restrictions can be circumvented if desired. The presentation in Discovery mode takes place in a narrative manner. Together with some children, the player talks to a fictional Toy-Con developer. At the end of most topics, a short quiz takes place to make sure the player understood the basic concepts that were explained. An independent section in Discovery mode is called VR videos, where 33 short VR videos can be enjoyed. Most of the videos are stereoscopic 3D and cover topics such as animals, food and music. Another Discovery section is the Toy-Con workshop, where the player can do some project-based programming within a simple wizard. There is a VR version of this section, which allows the user to make simple games and to alter also called VR room games. The VR room is located in the play environment as a set of 64 minigames. All these minigames were made by Nintendo using the VR room tools of the Discovery mode. While being impressive, this also somewhat explains why some of the games feel clumsy and others don't run stable. For the player, 64 free save slots are available to make own applications. Besides the building blocks like offerings from the VR room, the play environment also contains fully fledged games and applications. The Blaster Toy-Con, once built, is fairly tall. At the back is a socket into which the user would typically insert the VR assembly. Alternatively, the user can insert the Nintendo Switch directly, or better, housed in the so-called screen holder assembly, which offers a bit of protection for the console when not using the goggles. On the left hand side is a compartment for the left Joy-Con, which is attached via a swivel. Turning this compartment is used as an in-game mechanic, which relies on the gyro sensor. Turning the compartment back is furthermore used to close the back socket lid. On the bottom mid is the square trigger of the gun. Pressing it moves a notched lever. The notch holds back the force feedback element, which is held under rubber band tension. The two parts are cocked with the help of the pump action in the bottom front of the gun. This mechanism can be witnessed via a little window at the right hand side of the gun. Thanks to the unusual shape of the handle, the location of the trigger isn't as offending as it might seem on first glance. On the top of the gun is a shark fin, which acts as an indicator. When the gun is loaded, the fin disappears into a recess. The right hand side Joy-Con is inserted into the front of the gun. Using its IR sensor and lamps, it pays attention to the location of reflective stickers, which are placed on certain parts inside the gun. Changes in their relative position can be interpreted as trigger state and loading state. The blaster is nice to use, but feels a bit fragile. It will endure several hours of play fine, but definitely shows signs of fatigue after that, which isn't surprising given the choice of material. It could be argued that one should play very carefully and gently with the blaster, but given the high level of challenge when attempting reaching the highest scores, this becomes unfeasible. 2 fully fledged out games are contained on the Toy-Con 4 cartridge, Blaster and Ketterblaster. In the former, the player takes the role of a little robot tank vehicle. It is able to shoot somewhat slow blue balls in a parabolic flight curve. The gun turret looks a lot like the Blaster Toy-Con itself. As enemies, pink blob-like creatures have to be shot. Per level, usually 1 green blob exists, which grants bonus points upon being killed. Large animal-looking vehicles are piloted by eyeball monsters, which act as bosses. The game plays as an on-rail shooter and consists of 6 sceneries, each consisting of 3 levels. Typically, a boss encounter or an enemy rush takes place at the end of each 3rd level. Every group of levels can be selected freely from the start, and after the game has been beaten, a level select area unlocks, which makes every individual level available in one of 2 difficulties. At normal difficulty, 2 additional gun mechanics are available. Pulling the trigger while the gun isn't cocked will lock a location or a moving target. If the gun then is loaded and shot, the projectile will follow the locked-on target. If the left-hand side compartment is tilted, the time will be momentarily stopped for the surrounding of the controlled vehicle. Within this limited time frame, the player can shoot multiple targets before going back to normal by returning the compartment or running out of time. At the end of each level, statistics and scores are displayed. At the last level of a group, the player receives a medal corresponding to the reached points threshold. The first group of levels is located in a town. The scenery of the next group remains urban. This group introduces the first boss. The player is then brought underground into the darkness. Rooftops and the skyline are the general theme of the next 3 levels. Group 5 takes place on various construction sites. In the last group of levels, the player enters the blob mothership, where the blob leader is fought. I liked Blaster and I think it has good replay value. Players can challenge themselves to earn better medal ratings, as these are tracked on the main screen and also on the unlockable level select screen. I would have liked if the player had a health bar and took damage from enemy attacks. Instead, the hostile attacks are just here for flavor. This is especially hard to understand, as in the VR room minigames there actually is a health point system. Despite this minor gripe, I think Blaster is a well-made and nicely presented game. The mood of the scenery is great and the perspectives are impressive at times. This is combined with great Super Smash Bros.-like sounding music and nice graphics in stereoscopic 3D, which is quite a treat. Ketterblaster is a turn-based 2-players game. The 2 players stand on the rim of a pool in which hippopotamuses are swimming. A certain area in the front of the player bears the player's color. The target of the game is getting more hippopotamuses into their own area than the competing player. The animals are lured towards the players by feeding them with food, which is shot from an air cannon. Pulling the trigger on a not cocked gun lets a whistle sound, which causes some of the animals to rotate randomly. This can be necessary to feed a certain target, as the food has to be thrown into close proximity of an open mouth. The number of available whistle calls per round is limited. Pumping the handle starts the suction process, which lasts until the player sucks in a food item, which is assorted in the air on top of the player. The item can then be shot at the animals or at the palm tree. Each kind of food has a unique flight pattern and property. If a hippopotamus has a fondness for a particular food, it will approach the player more vividly and might push other animals with it in the process. The preferences of each hippo can be seen by rotating the left Joy-Con compartment. All hippopotamuses love honey melons, which act as a joker. The most common and basic fruit is the apple, which flies fairly straight. Green grapes spread like a shotgun. Black grapes behave like an automatic gun. Watermelons can be destroyed mid-air, which causes melon chunks to spread out in a circular manner. Each melon slice can feed a hippopotamus. Bananas fly in a curved trajectory. Pineapples slowly fall down and attract multiple animals to the landing site while doing so. One of the hippopotamuses is green and wears a wrestling mask. That one counts as 3 points and is especially desirable to get. The game is surprisingly hard to predict and exciting, as towards the end of the game it gets very tempting to aim for animals in the enemy area instead of the other portions of the pool. Because the neighboring player areas are very crowded, it is somewhat likely that a single hippo will push multiple animals with it in that case. The net score difference gained that way is high, as for every 1 hippo the player gains, the competing player loses 1. The VR room has 4 Blaster Toy-Con compatible games. In game 37 the player has to shoot yellow balls. The player's shots are tiles of various shapes and properties. By pressing the trigger on a non-cocked gun, the player can browse through the available tiles and select one. Some of the targets shoot back. If the player runs out of health, the game ends and starts over. Game 38 is a target shooting. Each time a target is hit, it is put back even further in order to increase the challenge. In game 39, the player has to find means to cause a ball to kill all on-screen blobs. The hardest of these VR room games is game 40, in which the player has to kill a defined amount of blobs before running out of time. The player navigates through the games by shooting yellow teleporter discs. Although I am impressed that these VR room games have been made using Nintendo Labo's building block system, I like them the least. In my opinion, they play worse than the 2 main games. Often, I was reset to the beginning of a VR room game without any evident reason. This frustrated me and stopped me from wanting to complete these games. Overall, the Nintendo Labo items remind me a lot of butter sculptures. They are skillfully designed and beautiful, yet not meant to last forever, which becomes part of their appeal. The build instructions and the story segments are very interactive. Many models can be dragged and rotated, and sometimes even layers of transparency, which allow the users to see through certain cardboard segments, can be toggled. If you consider the Labo Toy-Con 4 kit as a VR entertainment set, you might be disappointed. But if you take it as an educative experience, which is best to be enjoyed by members of a certain age group and maybe accompanied by an adult, this is a very compelling product. I hope developers keep the Elephant Toy-Con in mind when making light gun games for the Switch, such as the upcoming The House of the Dead remakes. This is the end of the ordinary review. What follows is a time-lapsed montage of myself assembling the Blaster Toy-Con. As background music, I recreated the Nintendo Labo theme on my favorite instrument. The melody is looped in a frantic synthesizer jam. I hope you like it, but if you can't stand it, I am sure you will make good use of the mute button or stop the video.